again to all, and today we will be seeing that transmission line, the extension of transmission line, which is the first unit. Total, the first unit is revolve around transmission line. So since it is more important, that is because it's coming in the first unit, and also it is occupied full unit because it is the concepts are quite the basic foundation fundamentals for further higher courses. Okay, so here the transmission line we have written voltage and current, and we have written different constants. Okay, and we have taken a general transmission line. This is a general transmission line which is not loaded. Next case is we have taken transmission line is loaded with a load impedance ZL, and I've taken that this loaded transmission line as lossless. The reason to take a lossless is it's easier to do for to start up with. It is easier to do with a lossless transmission line. So what is that lossless transmission line? So we have seen that the resistance and conductor loss is zero, so the gamma, it can be only the j beta. Okay, so I have only the beta component and not a alpha component. Alpha is zero. Okay, since r equal to j equal to zero, then attenuation is zero. So I can represent any lossless line with the beta, and the z naught will be there for always. This is called characteristics impedance. So sometimes it's called line impedance. More importantly, it's called characteristics impedance. Okay, the more practical value for characteristics impedance is 50 ohms. What you will see it in the function generator in our different connectors, 50 ohms. And beta is mean for lossless. Okay, so this is a lossless and it is a loaded. So we have what we have seen in the exactly in the last session. We have seen that lossless, loaded, transmission line. So then we return this voltage and current equation. Okay. So with that, how we have written this voltage and current? By making that load is placed on origin, is it equal to 0. The reason to take this is 0 is apparent because it makes that mathematical simplification little easier. So what it means that is z axis on this direction, from left to right, okay, and I'm placing that load at origin, and all the way from load to when I'm going to the source. Probably I'll take it in another color. When I'm going into the source, this is my source here, so it is in the negative z axis. Probably this point I will take z equal to minus. So what is the total length of the transmission line is L. Okay, so using that condition, z equal to 0 at load, I can able to rewrite this voltage and current equation as in a simpler way, that is incident wave e power minus gamma z. So v naught minus, this is a reflected wave, e power plus gamma z tends to be v naught plus and v naught minus because it's z equal to 0. And the same way the current, this is called v of 0 because z equal to 0. Same way the current at load can be written as I naught plus minus I naught minus divided by z naught. Okay, so the equations you would have known, we have seen that many times in earlier. So from that we will get it for a lossless loaded transmission line. Placing that load at z equal to 0, I'll get voltage and current v of 0 and I of 0. Okay, so here I introduce one of key parameter, that is called gamma, reflection coefficient. Okay, so this is means to measure how much reflection is happening in the transmission line. What is that? By taking this voltage and current v of 0 and I of 0. Okay, this is will give me the impedance at load is that so if you divide this 1 and 2, so we'll get what this v naught plus v naught minus. This is, I think I've done a mistake. Okay, this is supposed to be v naught plus, no? Okay, from this the earlier equation, this is v naught plus and v naught minus. Okay, if I'm not wrong. I think everyone listening me, just because you should have immediately pointed out I'm doing a mistake. Okay, so here, so what is the V and I for our transmission line? So this is incident V power minus gamma z, and V naught minus e power plus gamma z. This is the first that is Roman letter 1, and this is 1 by z naught. This is V naught plus e power minus comma z minus V naught minus e power plus comma z. So how to remember it? I don't mug up these equations. That's the reason. Sometimes I'll do the somewhere writing it. Maybe that will be some error, but there's no need to remember that equation. Just to understand the concepts basically. So there are two parts in the voltage. One is the incident. One is the reflected wave. So why it's called first is incident, because e power minus is there. So whenever positive is the direction, it's going to decay. So that is the incident that is naturally happened when it's source to load. The second is reflected when coming from the load to the source point. It's going to higher because source is from the left side. So that is a reflector. So think about the water flowing in one direction, and there is some no, putting a stone or some block, so it is reflecting back. That is a reflected wave. So similarly, the current I can also write voltage V plus and V minus, V naught minus, and same incident and reflected voltage. The waves exponential divided by 1 by Z naught, I'll get the current. Okay, so if you substitute Z equal to 0, this become V naught plus and V naught minus divided by Z naught. Fine, then this can be V naught plus, this is V naught minus, and I have Z naught also. So this Z naught will come here, ZL minus Z naught, this V naught plus, and this is V naught minus, this is V naught plus minus V naught minus. I think this with that I stop, and in the last class, the idea is to find out the difference of this load to the characteristics impedance. Okay, how to do that? By using a mathematical formula, by A by B equal to C by D. If A by B equal to C by D, then this become can be written as A minus B divided by A plus B, and little fast, so excuse me for that, because I try to thought to cover this topic. Okay, so if you written that, you would have got this that we have seen in the last class. You can see it in the last lectures, or whenever you written the notes, you could have seen that. So this can be written as V naught minus by V naught plus. So these quantity is called reflection coefficients. I told this is again very important quantity. This will lead us to Smith chart. This is a graphical tool which can solve the transmission line problem, which is what we can see. It is omnipresent. This transmission line, the nature of this is occur everywhere, from the chip, from the telephone cables, or coaxial cables, anywhere. Whenever the signal is higher frequency signal, this is going to happen. So these transmission line problem using a Smith chart, we can solve it graphically. It's a graphical tool. Now it is integrated with the oscilloscope. Okay, that oscilloscope particularly we call as vector network analyzer, VNA, that we have it in the antenna uh, lab in the admin block. Okay, there is another chamber is there, so there we have a vector network analyzer to study this the reflection, how much reflection is happening in the antennas or in the transmission line. Okay, this is one of the key equipments to for higher frequencies. So when coming back to this gamma, okay, I introduce that this gamma, and I will write this gamma into the this voltage and current equations. Okay, how I can going to write, how this voltage and current is going to change. I'm going to write it here. Okay, so here this voltage and current, probably I'll take it another EFZ. Okay, so this is my V naught plus e power minus, I'm going to write beta z, and V naught minus e power plus j beta z. So what happens to gamma? e power minus gamma z becomes e power minus j beta z, because the gamma is nothing but alpha plus j beta. Okay, so this becomes j beta if the transmission line is considered lossless, because alpha equal to 0. Okay, so I can rewrite this voltage and current for lossless line as V naught plus, and this is on the Z naught is there. This become e power minus j beta z minus V naught minus e power plus j beta z. Okay, so once I know this, can I use this relation here? Okay, so I'm going to do from the voltage, I'm going to take this V naught minus and take. I'm going to take this V naught minus outside. Okay, I think it is visible. I think there is no question, there is no technical issues. So take this V naught minus outside. This may be 3, this is maybe 4th equation. So you can write it V of Z. So V of Z equals to, I've taken V naught plus already is there, V naught minus I've taken outside. So this is e power minus j beta Z. Okay, so minus or plus, this is the plus, no, because incident plus reflected is voltage. Okay, so I'm going to connect the power. So here e plus e power plus j beta z. So this can be a gamma. I think I'm missing something here. Probably it could have been V naught plus, V naught minus here. I've taken V naught minus here, so it become V naught minus. V naught plus e power V naught minus. So I'm going to the reverse way. Probably I'll write it again. So V of Z equals to V naught plus e power minus j beta z plus V naught minus e power plus j beta z. The idea is I have to get the ratio of V naught minus by V naught plus. So what I can do, I can take V naught plus outside. Correct? This becomes e power minus j beta z plus this become V naught minus by V naught plus. No, this bracket is closed here. This is e power plus j beta z. So I can write this voltage with respect to reflection coefficient as V naught plus e power minus j beta z and plus gamma times of e power plus j beta z. Okay. So similarly, I can write the current I of z as V naught plus by z naught e power minus j beta z minus gamma e power plus j beta z. Okay, is that clear? This is becomes 5 and 6. Let's take another color. Okay, so here, so what is the meaning if there is no reflection? The perfect transmission line, no reflection. If no reflection, there is no waves coming from the output to the input. So that gamma equals to 0 and gamma equal to 0. So EF is that only it's an incident wave, no reflection. The current is again only the reflect incident current V naught plus by Z naught. So V by A is nothing but current, no? So e power minus j beta z. So if the lines are no reflection is present, perfectly matched, this we call as a perfectly matched circuit. Okay, there is no reflection. So practically it may not be, so that what we are going to estimate and how to make it to matched so that there is no reflection. That is ideal, because the water when it is let us take now you have water pipe no let us take when you open the water it has to flow in one direction, it should not come back again, correct? Sometimes in the I think you would have observed that in the home if there is any log no there is what you say there is block in the pipe, it may come back, so that it is not desirable, basically it has to go in one side, no? So similarly this matching is nothing but the flow of the power should go in one direction, so that called a matched condition, that is a perfectly matched transmission line that is used in the even circuits also. Okay, the power has to go only one direction. So coming back to the derivation here, now with that I'm going to calculate the power. So how much power I can send it if I know this voltage and current, how to calculate the power. Okay, the power is calculated as, probably take another uh, other color. So the power flow along the line at point Z, at any point of Z, any point of Z is, I can write average power. Okay, why it's called average power I'll tell you. So basically it is related with voltage and current. So V into I is power. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this is R, no, this is a peak to peak, normally peak to peak voltage and current. So take V peak by root 2, so I peak by root 2. So V into I 1 by root 2, 1 by root 2 because become 1 by 2. Since it is a complex number, voltage and current can be a complex. Okay, what is that complex voltage and current? The voltage can have 5 voltage 40 degree, current may have 2 milliamps 60 degree. So if it is having a the magnitude and phase means magnitude and angle means it is having a the complex quantity. This is a polar format, you can just convert into rectangular basically. So voltage and current normally we represent as a polar format because 5 voltage it's starting with a 40 degree, this is a 2 milliamps starting with a 60 degree. So that is my basically the more meaningful basically for a voltage and current. So voltage and current can be a complex in the polar format, magnitude and angle. So take a real part of it. So multiply this V of Z and take a conjugate and multiply. Okay. So the conjugate we will take it normally. So when he wants to take a magnitude, now how we do it? A plus IB is there, A minus IB. If you take conjugate, no, you will get what you will get. A square minus B square, that is nothing but I think there is a relations, the complex identity, you can easily do that. Take a complex number and conjugate of it, when you multiply it you will get a magnitude. So basically, right? So take conjugate of the current. So here take this fifth equations here, multiply with the sixth. It may take some times to do it. Probably no, what I have to do, multiply this with this, multiply this with this, it will take this and multiply with this. So when I do that, I'm going to write probably there can be any questions you can ask me, that this is directly the multiplication of these two. So when I do that, let us take this is V and this is I. So 2 V naught, this one more V naught is there. Let us put this V naught plus the mod square because I'm taking only the real part. A real part of this when you take is nothing but the magnitude. Okay, so magnitude square. It's making sense. With complex number and conjugate, let us take A plus AB and A minus IB. Okay, so multiply these two. So A square minus IAB, this is plus IAB, and is getting this A into A into A into IB is A into IB, and minus IB into plus IB. So it become a minus I square B square, right? So it become A square, this will be cancelled out, plus B square. So what it means, so when you take conjugate, complex number and conjugate, it's nothing but taking that complex number. If you do the magnitude of any complex number, means what? Root of A square plus B square. So take a magnitude square which is equals to conjugate and complex conjugate. It's correct. So if you take magnitude square of this, you get a square plus b square. This is again a square plus b square. So it is nothing but any complex number is that, and the conjugate when you multiply that, so we will get the magnitude. So means that the magnitude of z that whole square. Okay. So is that clear? This is a complex whatever we would have studied in the basic mathematics course. So you take complex number, take a conjugate and multiply that, you will get the value which is equals to taking that magnitude that whole square. So the same thing I am what I am going to do is this v naught and v naught, that magnitude that whole square. Okay, I am going to take only the magnitude. So it is very straightforward. Multiply two. So then multiply as it is. Somewhere when you take this I of z, you have to take a conjugate. So what is that conjugate means? E power minus you take e power plus j beta z, and whenever e power plus you take e power minus j beta z. So that is a conjugate, right? Because in the polar format, what is a conjugate? This is for rectangular format, it is a conjugate. For a polar format, if you take let us take 5 probably the polar format is, let us take the value of like e power or into e power j theta, that is a polar format. So if you take this is the one complex number in the polar format. So what is the conjugate? The magnitude will be as it is, and this is only minus j theta will be there. Okay, this is same like a plus ib, and this is a minus ib. Okay, so what I have to do here, take this I of z, write the complex conjugate of this and multiply this. That's it. So when you do that, you check this answer, whether are you getting this. I'm writing the answer from the notes whatever I had. So let us write this 1 by 2 e naught plus that whole square by z naught, because z naught is there in the current. This can be written as real of 1 minus gamma star e power minus 2j beta z and plus gamma e power plus 2j beta z minus gamma that whole square. Okay, you check that, are you getting this? Probably you might have this doubt, gamma star, probably I'll take here. So this is a I of z conjugate, complex conjugate. Even this is plus become a minus, this minus become a plus. Again gamma is also the complex, can be a complex number, because what is this gamma is, this is again complex number, this is can be complex, this and gamma can be a complex. So if this again impedance also can be a complex number, so it can be written as the magnitude and j theta, the complex as a polar format you could write, or it could have written as there is a real part and this is imaginary part. Okay, gamma I. So this is a rectangular form of gamma, this is a polar format of gamma, is a complex number. So if you take that also conjugate, so this become a conjugate. So when you multiply this and this, you'll get a gamma star and e power minus j beta z and e power minus j beta z. So it's a minus, it's a minus gamma star e power minus 2 beta z. So another e power 2 plus 2 j beta z is from this multiplication. This gamma, probably I'll tell you so many things here. So take another color. So when you take for example this plus gamma, you take this now multiply with this. So this is already conjugate, so it become a plus. So gamma e power 2j beta, and 1, how you got 1? Probably when you multiply these two, e power minus j beta z and e power plus j beta z become 1. Okay, I think it is straightforward. You will get the same results whatever I'm written here. Okay, so mod gamma square also you would have got with, because no, we get a gamma and gamma star when you multiply. I told when you multiply with any complex number and conjugate, we'll get a magnitude that whole square. Okay, so this also is very straightforward. Now you have to take only the real part from this equation. So when you look this the fraction, which are the real part? This is a complex number, this is a complex, so real is only these two. Okay, so when you write this average power, no, average power flow at any point of transmission line is that can be written as 1 by 2 a naught plus that whole square by z naught and 1 minus gamma that whole square. Okay, so if there is no reflection, gamma equals to 0, the average power which is delivered will be equals to the incident voltage square by 2. Okay, this may look like something you familiar. This can be equivalently written in the normally in the network any circuits, nothing but v square by 2r. Okay, so if you have any voltage and current is flowing across the load, okay, probably this is maybe the load r, so you would have written v into I. So if you take peak to peak voltage, if you write RMS, this become V by root 2 and I by root 2. And there is, you could have written I equals to V by R. So this become V by root 2 and root 2 is V by 2. I is nothing but V by R. It's nothing but V square by 2R. The same thing whatever we are writing in the higher frequency. Okay. So it's the same, only this gamma is added now. So with that, I think we can see one problem. Okay, I hope it is making some sense. Probably I will open the problem and I think it is more related what we okay, I think with that I think there are one questions you can answer, that is the antenna impedance, 50 ohms coaxial line. Okay, probably have to check that whether we can do this with these equations. Give a second, I will check that. Okay, yes. Probably the second unit. Okay, seconds. If any question, just put it me in the chat box and I'll try to answer that. This is the question from the textbook. Okay, so this is kind of more frequently asked questions in exams in the quiz. So this is very straightforward. It's supposed to be straightforward. Yeah, ready. Yeah, we can do this problem. Yeah, I'm going to make this the quiz is live. The poll, I'm going to start with the poll here. Yes, and I'm going to share that link in the Google Meet. You could go and answer it. This is my the Slido, the questions which is live, the poll. Probably I can open the website and I can show that. Yeah, presenter mode, full screen. I'm going to change that. Yes, I'm going to change to Google Meet to the present screen. For example, probably okay, I'm going to window, share now, share this. Okay, I think you couldn't able to see my that screen. Probably I will check it in the touch. So this is a question. Okay, the radio transmitter is connected to the antenna having impedance of 80 plus J40 ohms with the 50 ohms coaxial cable. If the 50 ohm transmitter can deliver 30 watts when it's connected to 50 ohm load, how much power is delivered to the antenna? It's more like a kind of practical situations. Okay, so the question is asked. Probably I will use the MS Paint here. Okay, so here the question is asked, 25.9 watts, 26 watts. Okay, very fast, very good. So for others, so how to approach this problem? So here I have that load impedance of ZL. Okay, is given, that is antenna is connected, the transmitter is connected to the 26 watts. Okay, close to that, correct. So here my load is ZL here, my antenna, maybe some antenna, maybe I'll take that parabolic antenna. Let us take parabolic antenna, dish antenna. Okay, that is a 80 plus J40 ohms. Okay, that coaxial cable is 50 ohms. I know this is my Z0, this is my Z. So once I know that, I have to find out gamma, straightforward. So ZL minus Z0, ZL plus Z0. So the reflection you can find out. So once I know the reflection, the power delivered is what? This average power, the equation. So what we can do is slightly modify that equations such a way that what we have seen that here V naught plus naught square by 2 Z naught and
Excuse
1.
me, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, we cannot see the screen. We are just seeing the question screen. Can you show us the paint screen where you are solving the question?
Yeah. I will just share that. Yeah, 1 second. Yeah, 1 second. Just yes. I'm going to share the screen now. Probably give a second. Yes, I have to change to Google Meet. Probably stop presenting and presenting entire screen. So here I think the problem is asked like the antenna is 80 plus J40 ohms here. That is sitting, that is here. This is a parabolic antenna. Let us take this is a parabolic antenna, this antenna. So the coaxial cable from setup box to antennas, the standard impedance is 50 ohms. Connected to this antenna, dish antenna is 80 plus J40 ohms. This is a different impedance. So the question is asked if the power is given to cable from the transmitter. Okay, this is actually a different scenario. Probably we would have taken this can be a TV broadcasting station. They're giving a 30 watts power. So they connected 50 ohms cable to the dish antenna. So it is going to transmit to the space wirelessly. So in that case, the question is asked if the 30 watts power is given to the cable, how much power is actually reached here, how much power is transmitted through the space. So how much is incident on this antenna, how much is radiated. So you could have asked, no, this question should be a direct. So 30 watts is incident through the cable, 50 ohms, and the same 30 watts supposed to gone into the space. But actually, what happens? The impedance there are different happens. Okay, this is a 80 plus J40. This is a 50 ohms. There is the impedance mismatch. I told the always analogy is water. Water is whenever flowing, the 30 watts power is flowing. If there is a disturbance like a stone or some kind of block, definitely it's going to reflect. All the powers may not reach to the space. So what is the reflected power? I can use this gamma, the reflection. Okay, so I can use this gamma reflection coefficient, that is the change, difference of the impedance what is present in the load with respect to the cable. Always cable, keep it one can keep it in mind, it is always standard 50 ohms. And sometimes unless otherwise it's mentioned in the problem, the impedance will be different, 100 ohms, 150 ohms, like that. Even it is will be a real number. So it's very rare they will give the complex characteristics impedance. Okay, so with that, what the difference of the impedance ZL minus Z0 by ZL plus Z0. So the difference of the impedance, you can just substitute this value 80 plus J40 minus 50 divided by 80 plus J40 plus 50. So you'll get a gamma. So this is the average power of any point of transmission line. So if you these equations slightly we could modify such a way that, so these when I put it this, the first, the quantity, now this is my, actually the incident power, how much power is incident to that exactly at this point, at the antenna which is connected. So this is my incident power, okay, and 1 minus this is my the reflection coefficient, okay, this is my nothing but the incident power. The reason is here, if whenever gamma equals to, because the power which is incident to any point of transmission line, right? So even here also the incident power will be this. So the power is given, fortunately we no need to do that magnitude square and everything. So in case if they have given the 5 voltage, for example 40 degree, the voltage is incident to the given to the transmitter. So we have to take a magnitude, leave the angle, take a square of it, so 25. Okay, so here that is given is 30 watts, and 2 this totally is the incident power, so we should not consider that is that not, okay, this is totally is of not, but voltage if it is given, the impedance you have to divide it and have to take. So the total quantity is incident power, and 1 minus, so gamma you could calculate, I think gamma how much is coming, you substitute that value, take a square. If it is 0.33, let us take 0.33, I would have calculated the value, take a square, and what we are getting, that is my the power which is no actually given to the antenna for a space. Okay, is that clear? So you would get probably close to this answer, which is you have already told to me, that is this. Are you getting, everyone getting 26 watts by using these steps? So the average power at any point of transmission line is the V naught square by 2 Z naught 1 minus gamma square. So this V square by 2R is nothing but a power, because V square by 2R is nothing but a power. The power is already given to us, that incident power, that is 30 watts. Okay, so the whole term is like incident power, and 1 minus gamma square, it is nothing but the reflected, what is the reflected, what is the portion it is reflected. Okay, that if you substitute, how much is the gamma, you can put it in the chat. I did not calculate. 0.283. Okay, this is a 0.283, and take a square of it, 1 minus this, and multiply with the 30, so you'll get a 26, close to 26 watts. So this is more kind of realistic practical situations you can one can understand. 30 watts of power, even if I use that very good excellent cable, if my impedance at the load, that antenna impedance, if it is very, definitely the loss of 4 watts, no, sorry, 4 watts of power. So it is no, it's really some huge value. It's not small power. So 30 out of that, for 4 watts is reflected. This is not good design. So what we'll use it normally, we'll try to use that impedance transformation circuit somewhere here. Okay, so convert this 50 ohms to 80 plus J40 ohms, or can I make the antenna at 80 plus J40? Nowadays we are designing the antenna such a way that patch antennas, this is only for printed antennas. For a parabolic antenna, still there is some issues are there, so we have to use some impedance transformation circuit. But when you see the printed antennas, this is we call as a patch antenna. So like a look like a patch printed onto the substrate, we try to feed that power where that point is 50 ohms, where this power is fed to the antenna. So that point of contact, the impedance will be 50 ohms, so that the impedance mismatch problems will be reduced. Okay, this is for a patch antenna, so we don't use that because transformation circuit, because it will occupy more area. Okay, so this is one kind of the approach we'll use it for a matching the impedance. Okay, with that probably there are one more questions. I think probably I can introduce that, the standing wave ratio. Okay, 0.134, 0.135, how you got, you have to take a square of it, gamma square. So gamma square is maybe probably 0.283. Okay, so another question is this, probably we can go to this poll. I'm activating this. The general question, one question is the general questions. I may be asked that after 12 probably 20. Okay, so this is activating poll. This is, I'm sharing the link. I think the same link you can use that. I'm using the presenter mode. The lossless transmission line is terminated with 100 ohms. If the SWR is 1.5, find the two possible characteristics impedance. So I'll introduce that what is the standing wave ratio. This is another constant. Okay, so let us go to the standing wave. What is that? This is more again we are using in the practical lab experiment, standing wave ratio. Okay, so what is this relation between the gamma? If this relation is known, you can easily find out what is that. So the gamma is nothing but the coefficient, reflection coefficients that we know that ZL minus Z0 and ZL plus Z0. So standing wave ratio, we will introduce that shortly with the more conceptual understanding what is the standing wave. But what is the relation between these two is, this is 1 plus mod gamma divided by 1 minus mod gamma. Okay. So what is this standing wave is basically, so if I don't have any reflection, this gamma equals 0, the standing wave is ideally is 1. And if there is multiple reflection, if it is a worst case, gamma will be plus or minus 1. Okay, so in that case, if I take a magnitude mod, so gamma becomes 1, so standing wave is close to 1 plus 1 divided by 1 minus 1, it is infinity. So the standing wave, the values typically it will vary from 1 to infinity. Okay, for ideal case, standing wave is 1. The worst case is standing waves is are infinity. So what is that standing wave is? If the C waves is kind of reflected, the voltage are reflected, you will get a pattern like this kind of standing waves. Because once this incident and reflected is coming back, so where I am getting the minimum, voltage is minimum, where I am getting voltage maximum. Okay, so the standing waves is the ratio between these two, V max by V minimum. Okay, we will see that more elaborately later. If there is no standing waves, so it will be like a straight line, like a C without any waves. So standing waves becomes 1. So in the given problem, okay, already answers. If the standing wave or the line is on 0.5, okay, then possible characteristics impedance. So you know that what is that standing wave that is 1.5. So you put it this value 1.5, and gamma you can mod gamma you can calculate. So how I've written S with 1 plus gamma. How you can write gamma with S? Are you able to understand the questions? I've written S with respect to gamma, 1 plus gamma and 1 minus gamma. Okay. How we can write gamma with S? So this is mod gamma. I could have written like, check that answer. This is S minus, I think I'm right or wrong. Let us check S plus 1. If S equals to 1, gamma equal to 0, correct. If S equals to infinity, gamma should be equals to 1. Will it come? So let us put S equals to infinity, first case. Okay, I'll take S outside. In both case, numerator denominator, this become 1 minus 1 by S. This is become 1 plus 1 by S. So when you put S equal to infinity, gamma becomes 1. Okay, this is the correct equivalent of writing this. Since S equals to 1.5 is given in the problem, so this become 1.5 and this is 1.5. So mod gamma become some value that what already some of you told you 0.135. Okay, so here I could get plus 0.135 or minus 1.135. So both are valid for ZL, either because it's a mod gamma. So it can be plus or minus. So if you take a plus or minus, this gamma can be plus 0.135 or minus 0.135. From that gamma, you could write ZL minus Z0 and ZL plus Z0. Okay, I think that is what answer. Two possible of characteristics impedance is asked. Okay, how to do that? So ZL minus Z0 and ZL plus Z0 is a comma. You can take it ZL outside, and 1 minus Z0, but still I need Z0, no? ZL I need. How to find out ZL? Characteristics impedance. Okay, Z0 I supposed to know. Gamma is there, 0.135, and I missed it. Okay, I think we'll see that problem again. So this is my S is 1.5 is given, standing wave ratio. Okay, sorry, here this ZL is already is given now. Okay, ZL is put 100. Okay, substitute 100, and you need Z0, right? So you could easily find out this gamma is 0.135. You could easily find out Z0 because ZL is given. So gamma can be two value, plus 0.135 or minus 0.135. So both are valid. So from that you can find out what is the characteristics impedance of line. So it can be two answers is given, 66.7 and 150. Okay, so you check that these both can be characteristics impedance, so that my ZL minus Z0 will come gamma 0.135 or minus 0.135. So from that the standing wave ratio, if I calculate, I will get 1.5. Okay, that way it is. Maybe if you know the gamma, SWR is one of the other parameters which will be used in the when you're doing the practical experiments, finding the standing wave ratios of given passive devices or microwave test bench. You can do that. So with that, another 3 minutes I want to stop.